Now, tensions have spiked sharply in the Asia-Pacific after U.S.'s House Speaker Nancy Pelosi visited Taiwan. Beijing now announced that it will hold military exercises that include live fire drills in 6 zones surrounding Taiwan. The drills will start today at noon local time in the waters off the coast of Taiwan. They're expected to continue for 5 days till the 8th of August. These will include long-range live ammunition shooting. They will take place in multiple zones encircling Taiwan, at some points within just 20 kilometers of the island's shore. When compared to the live fire zones during the third Taiwan Strait crisis in 1995 to 96, the areas designated this time appear closer to mainland Taiwan. Now, Chinese state media Global Times described the exercises as unprecedented and confirmed that the missiles would fly over Taiwan for the first time. Taiwan has condemned the drills, calling it an attempt to threaten important ports in urban areas and, more importantly, unilaterally undermining regional stability. Taiwanese President Tsai Ing-wen said that the country was facing deliberately heightened military threats. In the latest, Taiwan Defense Ministry now confirmed that an unidentified aircraft had also flown over its Kinmen Island, adding that they were probably drones that it had fired flares to drive them away. This after Taiwan yesterday confirmed that 27 Chinese warplanes had already entered its air defense zone and that it had to scramble jets to warn them off. Taiwan's Maritime and Port Bureau issued warnings to ships to avoid these areas being used for Chinese drills. The Taiwanese cabinet confirmed that the drills would disrupt 18 international routes passing through its flight information region. As tensions escalate, the group of 7 nations condemned China over its aggressive stance. Foreign ministers from United States, UK, Japan, Canada, France, Germany, Italy, in a joint statement said, and I'm quoting here, "There is no justification to use a visit as a pretext for aggressive military activity in the Taiwan Strait, and China's escalatory response risks increasing tensions and destabilizing the region." Meanwhile, White House has also warned China not to turn Nancy Pelosi's visit to Taiwan into a crisis, warning that the United States is ready to meet any challenges by Beijing in the region.
There is no reason for Beijing to turn this visit, which is consistent with long-standing U.S. policy, into some sort of crisis. There is no reason to do that. We have been very clear. There's no change in our One China policy, which is guided by the Taiwan Relations Act of 1979. That has not changed. And so, look, the United States will not seek and does not want a crisis here. But we are prepared to manage what Beijing chooses to do.
The EU's diplomatic chief, Josep Borrell, condemned China's planned military exercises around Taiwan, saying that there is no justification for using this visit as a pretext for military aggression in the Taiwan Strait. Remember, China had on Wednesday accused the United States of violating China's sovereignty. Chinese foreign minister warned of relevant, resolute, forceful and effective measures. The escalation in the region took place after U.S. House of Representatives Speaker Nancy Pelosi made an unscheduled trip as part of a wider Asia tour, even after repeated warnings by Beijing against doing so. The senior U.S. Democrats' visit was not approved by President Joe Biden, who had earlier said that the American military felt it was not a good idea amid heightened tensions in the region. And earlier, Edward Peace Joseph joined us from Washington, D.C. He is part of the faculty of Johns Hopkins School of Advanced International Studies. Let's listen into what he had to say.
We will only know whether it was worth it when we see how this plays out and when we see how what the Chinese do and the reaction to what the Chinese do, including to these live fire drills that you mentioned that are quite provocative, and not just provocative but dangerous, because they bring the prospect of a direct confrontation between vessels belonging to Taiwan and belonging to the United States with China. So that the short answer is, obviously we have to see how it plays out, but there are already implications and consequences of what Nancy Pelosi has done. It's very clear. She has strengthened the relationship between the United States and Taiwan. There's no question about that. And she has raised the profile of the Taiwan issue. She has in some ways internationalized the question of Taiwan and the question of its ability to peacefully remain in its current status without force. And here, this is really where the question of the U.S. position, you raised this, what does the U.S. actually mean? The fundamental point here is that, of course, there's this strategic ambiguity of the U.S. position, which has to do with one China, where they have nominally this change. But the key word is no use of force.
WION is now available in your country. Download the app now. Get all the news on the move.